I'd like to go ahead and move over to you then and start talking about some technologies. And let's first start about talk about some of the devices being used. When we look at consumer devices, smartphones, tablets, and things like that, are you incorporating those into trials? And can you tell me how they're being used to help improve studies and the patient experience?
Yeah, sure. Thanks for having us. It's a real pleasure to share our experiences here, because we really want to leverage the digital technologies that are available in the world around us for the benefit of patients in clinical trials. And of course, the world of a clinical trial is an artificial environment where we select patients and select the medical assessments, etc., that we do. But we do believe that digital technology enables us to make clinical trials closer and closer and closer to the real medical practice, and as Vicky said, help us unlock the potential of clinical trials as a treatment option for as many patients as possible. So yes, we are using digital devices. As we said, 100% of our trials are set up with some kind of form of remote data collection. And we do that with a mix of, I would say, consumer devices, bring your own device. But critical in all of this, and I'm going to repeat what was said before, we want to make sure patients have options. So some patients may say, oh, I have everything on my own smartphone. I have everything on my own tablet. Can I please have the apps that I need to use on my own device? And then we'll say yes. But there's other patients that don't want to have that. They may not want to have on a device that they also use for work, anything medical, or they don't have a phone number the same every month, or they may not want to have they don't have the data and Wi-Fi capabilities to transfer the data on their own device. So there we provide devices. So it's really a mix, and again, all focused on enabling every patient to take part. And that is just I would say, interface devices, and that's just the interface. It doesn't even go to Fitbits and things like that, but I think that's what we're going next.
And for companies who will be launching into this journey in the next year, can you talk about any challenges the company faced when incorporating these devices? I would like to think that when you make a decision to start using some of these patient-facing devices, that everything just goes smoothly and as planned, but I'm sure there are issues that arise. Can you share what some of those are and how you were able to overcome them? Yes,
sure. No, absolutely. And again, for Sanofi, this is a journey that we've been on for the past 7 years that we started with this. And we've done a lot of testing ourselves, and we select patient groups. And very simple testing, like, can you wear this device 24/7? Or can you do everything that you want to do with the data upload that you have to maybe do 3 times a day? So we've seen lots of challenges. But the very first question that I always ask our internal teams when they come to me and say, oh, Terttu, let's do something digital on this study. The first thing I ask is, what is it that you want to measure? What is it that you really want to know? And that starts the journey of finding the right device. And again, that is not as straightforward as it may sound, because you may say, oh, I want to know the day-to-day activity of a patient, but then do you want to know the number of steps, or do you want to know the number of hours that they're active, or do you want to know the number of hours that they're not active? Do you want to know the radius around their home that they cover in a day? So the first question and the first challenge is really select the device that measures what we really want to know. And there's one, and sometimes it may sound very obvious, but you have to go through real life testing, and it doesn't have to be with patients, it can be with volunteers. We had at a certain point a whole team of Sanofi employees walking around with all sorts of devices, because that is the only way to find out what it really means to ask the patients to make that commitment to collect those data in that way for us.
And I was I'm sorry, go ahead.
No. There's always one story that goes around here that I'm happy to share, and it is absolutely suitable for work, so don't worry. But we were testing a sleep device, and it was a device under a mattress. And when we were doing the readout, we saw some really strange heart rates, etc. And when looking back, it turned out, oh yes, the person said, oh yes, that was the day that my daughter was really sick and crawled into bed with my wife, and that must have picked up my daughter's heart rate instead of mine. And that was just such an eye opener that we can think things are really patient focused, but we never know. As soon as the patient walks out the door, you're basically losing control, and you have to put on all sorts of ways to make sure that you're measuring what you really want to measure.